Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. If you like what we do here, you can find more over on our Taos Fundamentals YouTube channel. I've got more dives like this and some gaming videos too. But today we're back in the Faroe Islands for a look at all the latest happenings.
Always a lot going on here.
Right. You wouldn't think it to look at them, but these islands are never boring.
Let's start with something kind of serious, though.
Oh yeah, the incident with the Smeril Line ferry. The Glyversnes, I think it was.
Yeah, they're still looking into what caused the explosion and the fire, but
It's a tough situation for sure.
sadly, one man died in the accident, and 3 more were taken to the hospital.
The CEO, Jens Meinhard Rasmussen, said it's a sad day for the whole company, and he's going to meet with the crew later today.
Hopefully they can get some answers soon.
On a lighter note, well, actually, no, not really. The police in Klaksvik are investigating some vandalism.
Oh, what happened?
At least 11 cars had their side mirrors broken.
Wow. Well, that's not good.
Turning to politics, there's a bit of drama brewing in Cerviger.
What's going on there?
The deputy mayor has actually called for the mayor to resign.
Oh, wow. Why is that?
Seems there's some controversy over a development project by Varan Pelagic. It's been appealed, and, well, things are getting a little heated.
Ah, yeah, those development projects can be tricky.
And in Sunda municipality, there are rumors that the mayor has been reported to the police.
Really?
But the deputy mayor is staying tight-lipped. Just directed inquiries to a Facebook post.
Well, that's certainly intriguing.
Moving on to the economy, it seems the Icelandic fishing industry had a bit of a rough year in 2024.
Oh, yeah. How bad was it?
Catches decreased by 15.6%.
Oof, that's pretty significant.
But there's a bit of good news. For the Faroe Islands, at least, production costs in the aquaculture industry are going down.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Now, for some cultural news, the Filmsfalagnum Film Society is showing the classic silent horror film Nosferatu.
Always a good one.
And finally, a little bit of good news to end on. The first baby born in the Faroe Islands in 2025 is a boy.
Congratulations to the family. Speaking of new beginnings, it looks like the newly elected committees in Cerviger are officially in place.
Hopefully they can bring some stability to the municipality.
Yeah, they've got a lot to deal with, with the whole Varan Pelagic project still up in the air.
Definitely. Meanwhile, over in Fuglafjör, Davor Jule has been reelected as mayor.
So a bit of consistency there.
On the topic of consistency, the weather's been all over the place lately.
I saw that. Strong winds and icy conditions in some parts.
Not exactly ideal driving conditions. Speaking of which, it seems like there were a lot more cars on the road in December.
Huh, interesting. I wonder if that's just a seasonal thing or if it's part of a larger trend.
Good question. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about some of the bigger picture issues facing the Faroe Islands.
Okay.
The Prime Minister recently made a statement about self-governance. He's really pushing for the islands to assert their autonomy.
That's a pretty bold move.
It is, and it's happening at a time when the Faroe Islands are dealing with population decline.
That's a tough one. A lot of island nations struggle with that.
Right. The government is trying to come up with ways to attract and keep residents, but it's a balancing act.
Especially when you're trying to appeal to younger generations.
For sure. And then there's the whole issue of tourism. It's growing rapidly, but they need to manage it carefully.
It's always the double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tourism can bring in money, but it can also have a negative impact on the environment and the local culture.
Exactly. Finding that balance is crucial. Now, on a different note, there's a big push to improve education for children with disabilities.
That's great to hear.
They want to make sure all children have the same opportunities.
Makes sense. Investing in education is investing in the future.
So before we move on to our last segment, what are your thoughts on everything we've covered so far?
I think what stands out to me is how resilient the Faroes people are. They're facing all these challenges, economic uncertainties, a declining population, but they're still finding ways to move forward. And they're doing it all while holding on to their culture and their identity.
Yeah, it's pretty inspiring. It shows that even small communities can make a difference in the world. And that progress often means finding a balance between different priorities. Speaking of global impact, the Faroe Islands are also stepping up their game when it comes to cybersecurity.
Oh, right. In this day and age, you've got to be prepared.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Especially for islands that rely so much on digital infrastructure.
makes sense.
So they put together a national cybersecurity plan to strengthen their defenses and protect their critical infrastructure.
Good for them. Being proactive is key.
It's not just about protecting against outside threats, though. It's also about promoting responsible digital citizenship.
Right. Education is key. You've got to empower people to navigate the digital world safely.
Now, before we wrap up, let's touch on the economy one more time. We talked about the fishing industry, the growth of aquaculture, and the need to manage tourism.
A lot of moving parts there.
But the Faroe Islands are handling it well. They're really focused on sustainability, both in their traditional industries and in newer ones, like tourism.
That's a good approach.
It seems like they're committed to building a future that's both prosperous and respectful of their heritage. Well, that brings us to the end of our Faroe Islands News Roundup.
It's always fascinating to get a glimpse into what's happening in this unique community.
We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the Faroe Islands. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.